With an album title like Djent is not a genre, I think I can agree with Periphery on that point, but it doesn't really feel like much of a point is being made at all when this progressive metal record is in fact so blisteringly, frustratingly, and annoyingly unexciting. Which is what I would associate with any album or anything that could be lumped in with Djent, even unwillingly. Hi there everyone, welcome back to On the Flip Side. My name is Adam Shawalker, your host, and today we're covering this new Periphery album, Periphery 5, Djent is not a genre. From the technical side of things here, the playing is flawless and impressive, but that's what you would expect from Misha Mansour. But yes, for this album, I am pulling out the old reliable argument that seems to cover about 95% of progressive metal albums. Progressive metal pigeonholes itself into this one avenue of thought, where all of the solos and arrangements on paper are flawless and beautiful and thoughtful, but when you put everything together, it is the biggest polished turd. Because Misha Mansour can play circles around most any other guitar player, but he can't write a good, solid riff. And beyond just the instrumentals, which largely exist in progressive metal territory, the vocal work is seemingly trapped in 2009 metalcore, but with a twist of maybe some of the more modern Coheed and Cambria albums. It's hard to listen to, and there are a lot of vocal effects on this album as well. Take, for example, the mid-section of the track Atropos, which beyond the lyrical cliches of falling to pieces and being caught in the middle, has these really dated filters on the vocals which are annoying and grating. I just find the lack of taste when it comes to writing these records laughable, because you have these tracks with gargantuan lengths, with most being around like 7 minutes and a couple here past 10 minutes, and there's so many pulls from more consistent genres that go into these tracks. And what I mean by that is these guys are clearly well listened and well versed as far as metal as a blanket genre goes. There's a lot of identifiable elements here, but what they've done is blended so many of the best parts of different subgenres together in the most hideous way. And I guess that's kind of the thing when you take progressive metal as a gel and you try and take the angle of metalcore, is you just end up boiling down everything into this audio soup of all of these elements of blast beats without any real bite. You get big sweeping solos that are completely sterile and vocals that sound like a eunuch singing hair metal. It's completely sexless. And that's not an argument in favor of older music. I'm not trying to back up the boomers here, because there's plenty of good modern music that exists in a similar realm as this that I find to be quite good. In fact, a lot of bands that I would find to be the other side of the same coin would probably be bands that would be described as thal. But as this sits, this album feels like a remnant of the early 2010s, and not in a good way. Track to track, every moment sounds like these guys have completely fallen into this pit of making these tracks sound a little bit like everything else. There's very little that stands out as something that feels inspired or fresh. It goes past just being sterile to being incredibly stale. Is it unlistenable? No, but listening to it feels embarrassing, especially the further you get into this record with tracks like Silhouette, which sounds like it can't decide if it wants to be a pop track or not. At no point does it feel like Periphery are committing to anything. There are incredibly strong underlying blueprints that are then translated into a very unstable product that holds little to no weight. And the only time it feels like this album has some amount of focus and some drive are on the longer ending tracks, which are clearly where most of the effort went during the writing phase of this album. The last two tracks are prog metal slogs full of technical wankery. However, they are both very clearly the songs that the band are the most proud of here, because they seem at least semi-decent at points. Please just stop making prog metal records that are over 70 minutes. You can't pull it off, and that does not just go for Periphery. That goes for anyone who wants to try and do this. Please just don't. Your ambition is larger than your ability. The kind of person that would be capable of writing a truly amazing and interesting 80-minute prog metal record top to bottom isn't a progressive metal artist. Please stop putting out boring and lukewarm prog metal. This record could have been maybe a decent 20 or 30-minute EP with the last couple of tracks trimming the fat and maybe a couple shorter cuts. Periphery 5, Djent is not a genre, is a solid 3. Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know what you thought of this album in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram, my Reverb, and my Depop. Links to all of those are in the description below. Thank you all so much again. We'll see you on the flip side.